from PRX.
Friends beyond binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster who's just as, I'd say, well, I don't have a preference. You say, would you prefer to dance to Cher or Dua? And I just, I'd say, don't have, how could I prefer what, like I said, both in a row or alternating or, or one today, one tomorrow. Those are all legitimate options to me. And why am I talking? What am I talking? Well, it's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. And Sleep With Me is here out of compassion and empathy. And also like saying, hey, there's a lot of other people out there tossing and turning and stuff too. We're going to keep one another company. You're not alone. Sleep With Me is here to keep you company in the deep dark night to fall asleep. But if you need more, there's links to resources you can connect with right now in our show notes. And if you want to be a part of change, internal and external change, say Black Lives Matter with your actions. There's also links to organizations so you could support our community that we all live in. So those links are in the show notes as well. And these sponsors are why I'm here for you free twice a week and the listeners that support them. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about a sponsor that I'm missing so much. Oh, am I missing my Helix bed? I'm out of town right now. I'm on the road, and no mattress can compare, whether it's a guest bed in a family member's home or one of those fancy hotel mattresses. They do not compare to my Helix mattress because my Helix mattress is matched to my body type and my sleep preferences. And if you take the Helix quiz at helixsleep.com/sleep, you, and maybe you and your partner could take it together. You could all get matched with a mattress that meets the needs you have. That's the perfect mattress for you or for both of you. Because why would you buy a mattress made for someone else? With Helix, you're getting a mattress you know will be perfect for the way you sleep. And Helix Sleep's quiz takes just 2 minutes to complete. They know everybody's unique, so they have different models to choose from. They have soft mattresses, medium, and firm. And if you're like Scoots, they have mattresses that are great for cooling you down if you sleep hot. There's even a Helix Plus mattress for plus size folks. And I took the Helix quiz. I was matched with the Helix Dusk. It keeps me cool. I sleep on my side. I sleep on my stomach. It keeps me comfortable. It's just a perfect firmness for me. I love seeing what other listeners get matched with and seeing their unboxing videos when you found the Helix mattress of your dreams. So if you're looking for a mattress, you take the quiz, you order the mattress you're matched to. It comes right to your door, shipped for free. Not only that, Helix is so awesome, you don't have to take my word for it. Helix was awarded the #1 best overall mattress pick of 2020 by GQ and Wired Magazine. So get over there to helixsleep.com/sleep. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz and they'll match you to a customized mattress that'll give you the best sleep of your life. They have a 10-year warranty. You get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you will. And Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/sleep. That's Helix, HELIX, sleep.com/sleep for up to $200 off and 2 free pillows. Thanks, everybody. Sleep With Me is brought to you by Progressive. Are you thinking more about how to tighten up your budget these days? Drivers who save by switching to Progressive save over $700 on average, and customers can qualify for an average of 6 discounts when they sign up. A little off your rate each month goes a long way. Get a quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed in 2020. Potential savings will vary. Discounts vary and are not available in all states and situations. All right, everybody, it's time for the Sleepy Supporter Zone, the one part of the podcast I need you to hear. It's where I pop my peas, if you please. And I thank the listeners who supported the sponsors. Let the sponsors know about it. That's how we're able to be here free for you twice a week, is these listeners' action. I'm so thankful for listeners like Drew, who supported Air Doctor, got an Air Doctor, sent me an email, sent me a message, let me know how much Drew is enjoying the brand new Air Doctor. And I really appreciate appreciate it. Thank you, Drew, for supporting Air Doctor. If you support Air Doctor, let me know about it. If you support another sponsor like Bombas, I want to see you in your Bombas socks. Bombas wants to know that you value the support of the show. Or Native Deodorant. Let them know about it. Let me know about it. If you support Air Doctor like Drew, support Bombas, support Native, let them know about it. Let me know about it so I can thank you here on the Sleepy Supporter Zone. You can always use our website, sleepingthemepodcast.com/sponsor. Thank you so much. That's the first part of the Sleepy Supporter Zone. The second part of the Sleepy Supporter Zone is you getting the support you need. If you need extra help right now, there's links to resources you can connect with right now in the show notes. It's about supporting the members of our community with our actions, saying Black Lives Matter, saying stop AAPI hate. And the third part of the Sleepy Supporter Zone is something I support I support me learning more. So if there's an organization you're excited about, whether it's local, national, international, especially if it's supporting the indigenous peoples of wherever you live, let me know about it so I can learn more. And that is the end of the Sleepy Supporter Zone. Oh, Mr. Bard, a lot of people help out on this show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes too. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Kenny, Scotty, and Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the mystery bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support your scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mr. Bard. I'm at Dear Scooter on Twitter and Instagram, so you can find me. What do you say we get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing? Trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. And I'll do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is send my... Did I get mixed up again? You up all night tossing, turning mind, trouble again, somebody. What I'm going to try to do is whatever's keeping you awake, I'm here to take your mind off of that, whether it's thoughts, or it might be podcasters repeating stuff because they got mixed up, but it could be repetitive thoughts on your mind. Holy moly. So, or thoughts about the past, present, or future. It could be changes in your routine, feelings or emotions, physical sensations. Could be something else. Whatever it is that's keeping you awake, or, awake, or, whatever the situation is. I'm here to keep you company and take your mind off stuff. The way I'm going to attempt to do that is to send my voice across the deep, dark night. I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones so that my tones are not conducive to much else other than not even, you say, well, the kind he's got the kind of voice you can't forget about it, but you don't really listen to it. So creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, superfluous tangents. I'm going to go off topic. I'm going to get mixed up, all to keep you company, as I said, while you fall asleep. Now, if you're new, I'm glad you're here. If you're a regular listener, wow, thanks for being a regular listener to the show. I really hope it helps you on a regular basis, and I appreciate you being here. Now, if you're new, there's a lot of things that are different about this podcast. One is it takes a couple listens to get used to, in a way where you say, oh, I don't have to get used to it. I just, it's kind of like trying something on, like a new fabric. They say, oh boy, have you tried that new fabric everybody's talking about? And you say, I haven't heard about any new fabrics. Actually, of all the new things in our world, all the tech disruptions, Like sometimes people have new names for a fabric, but you say, well, isn't this like that other fabric? But you say, well, have you tried it on though? What, the laser stretch? I thought that was just lycra and cotton. And you say, well, no, it's a laser stretch. It's a new one. It's stretched, pre-stretched by it's pre-stretched by lasers. I'll try it on. I don't know. I tried it on though. The first time I felt a little lasery. Like, was there leftover laser, a remnant of lasers? That was another book, a piece of speculative science fiction I was going to write. A remnant of lasers. My tale, being, whatever what a space ranger does when they're no longer a space ranger. Sorry, I got mixed up. It could be applicable to this episode we're going to be talking about this week from TNG, because there's my life is a laser pointer collector. Yeah. Oh boy. I have the top dating site of laser pointers, and people that are interested in laser pointers, but please, you laser pointers, don't point them at anything that is sensitive to laser pointers. Point them in your house, point them in your classrooms, point them in your, don't point, laser pointers. Use them with respect and respect them. That's, my life is a foremost. You say, Scooch, I heard you were a dating expert. Oh yeah, for laser pointers dating one another. I'm sorry, Scooter. What did you say? Yeah, no, that's what was someone like, if laser pointers become sentient, I'm going to corner that market. Maybe not though, because somebody said, well, we had Boople and we just adjusted it to laser. Like you could see, if you combined laser and later, and we combined that and we put Scooter's dating website. And I said, well, what about, super colliders I was the first person to introduce particle colliders and super colliders together. Right. And that was the other universe we used to all live in, Scoots. And after those two connected and, they gave birth to, that was the end of that timeline. Oh yeah. I forgot about that. They said, there's a reason it's called a super collider and another one is called a particle accelerator. They weren't supposed to. And I said, oh. They just wanted to meet one another because they had some things in common, but they weren't the same. Sorry about that, whatever timeline I used to live in. Great to be in this one, by the way. Okay, so sorry if you're new. I was going to say something this podcast can take some getting used to, and it's not for everybody. So most regular listeners say, hey, give it a few tries because it's different. You might not like it at first. You may never like it, but just see how it goes because it's so different. And also on the so different thing is this is a podcast, clearly you've already figured that out, that you don't really listen to. You just kind of barely listen. You kick back. You just kind of pay attention. And you let me drone in the background, but you can listen. And this isn't a show that really puts you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep. So I'm going to be here for over an hour, and you could queue up episode after episode. If you can't sleep, I'm here for you. Like, I'll be here, right here, talking to you, or in a little while, I'll be talking to you about Star Trek TNG. So those are two things. Other things that throw new listeners off are the structure of the show or the content of the show or me. So I'm different. It may work for you, it may not. Just see how it goes. I know you're skeptical. I know you tried other things to fall asleep. The goal of the show is to make you feel less alone and to just barely entertain you, maybe barely make you smile while you get some rest. Structure of the show. Show starts off with a greeting, friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, so you feel welcome and seen. Then there's support for you, the listener. Then there's support for our show, so it can stay free. That's the first, 6-8 minutes or something. Then there's the intro, which is a show within a show. It's kind of like our wind down show. 3% of listeners skip it. A few thousand people pay to get story-only episodes on Patreon, but most listeners really enjoy it because it's part of their bedtime routine. So some people play it as they're getting ready for bed. Some listeners are in bed, and some people are doing something else relaxing, whether it's just sitting on the couch or, doing some skincare, doing some doodling, foam rolling, lying on the floor instead of lying in the bed. Maybe you're paging through a magazine. I mean, talk about something that not a ton of people do anymore you say, well, I'm just paging through it. So, the intro kind of serves as a purpose to give us some distance from the day and the night, from your day life, and ease you into bedtime, and kind of give you an overview of what to expect. My sense of humor, it's not funny. It's kind of like something funny. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. He was talking about something 5 or 6 minutes ago. He doesn't even remember what it was, but he says, well, that was barely entertaining. And that's what the show really is. So that's the intro. Then there's business between the intro and the episode. That's how kind of podcast structure works. And again, how we're able to be here free versus be part of a service. And then tonight we'll be talking about Star Trek: The Next Generation. But you don't need to have seen the episodes at all. I'll fill you in. It'll be like a bedtime story. Or like, anytime someone's recounted the plot of an entire movie or TV show in longer, you say, oh my gosh, I saw the show. I got to tell you about it. So there's a character, right? And they wear sneakers everywhere. So they have like sneakers, they have like their work sneakers. Then they have their dating sneakers. Then they even wear sneakers to bed, but they're slippers, but they have them designed like sneakers. Then when they go to the UK, they call them trainers. And then you're like, okay, that's it. Oh, wow. No. That's just the main character. And so then they meet someone, a barefoot runner. Okay. And then that goes on and on and on. What can feel like hours, right? But because of the social compact, you're supposed to, unfortunately, you're a good person. I know you. You're listening to the show. So you say, wow, barefoot runner and a sneaker lover. And what's the plot? Oh, so, no. So then it goes back to when they were kids, and they lived 2 towns away from one another. But both their parents worked at a shoebox factory. And then you can say, okay, wow, wow, what is this on? You know what? Maybe you shouldn't tell me anymore. Maybe I should. No, I got to tell you, I can't believe it. I mean, you could watch it, but I got to tell somebody about this. Okay, but okay. So you make that noise, right? So this podcast, you could do that if you want to. You say, Scoots, tell me more about Star Trek. But you don't have to pretend to listen to me. You could literally be drooling or snoring, or you could just be relaxed there, snuggled in and just kind of barely paying attention. So the show's here to keep you company while you drift off. I make the show because you deserve a good night's sleep. I really, truly believe that, and that our world and your world will be a better place if you get the rest you need. And I also make the show because I've been there. I know how it feels tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep. So I'm happy to help. So give the show a few tries, see how it goes. I really appreciate you coming by and checking it out. I really work hard. I yearn and I strive, and I really hope I can help you fall asleep. Thanks again for coming by. And here's a couple of ways I'm able to be here for you twice a week. Thanks.
The world might look normal, but getting back to feeling normal takes time. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it's time to get the support you need to move forward. Talkspace makes it easy to connect with a licensed therapist online. Start messaging your therapist as soon as the day you sign up, all from the comfort of your device. You can even schedule live video calls right in the app. Start feeling better with Talkspace. Get $100 off your first month with promo code SLEEP at Talkspace.com.
All right, everybody, it's time to talk about Bombas Performance Socks. I've been wearing them all summer long for long walks, for long runs, and for just walking around the house, doing work. And lots of things can make your workouts hard. Extra resistance, double speed, going one more mile. Your socks shouldn't. And that's why Bombas Performance Socks are built to be nothing but comfortable and supportive. Bombas Performance Socks have taken all the amazing innovations that make Bombas the most comfortable socks you've ever worn, and they've added their special Hex Tech performance technology. Bombas Performance Socks are stitched with special moisture-wicking yarn and temperature-regulating vents that allow cool air to flow in and prevent overheating. They come with this amazing pillow-like tab to save you from blisters, stay-up technology, a special arch-hugging system, and an extra layer of cushioning comfort on the bottom for the perfect amount of support. They come in different styles for every sport, with specific design features to help you optimize performance and keep you comfortable no matter what you're doing. And like all their socks, for every pair of Bombas Performance socks you buy, they donate a pair to someone in need. They've donated over 45 million pairs so far. And I just love how good they feel. I think it's the arch-hugging technology. They always stay on my feet. They keep my feet cool and they keep my feet comfortable. And they look good, whether it's the Sesame Street socks or the performance socks. I got the 3-tone performance socks in 3 different pop-in colors. People are always saying, Scoots, you look great in your socks. And I say, thank you. They're Bombas socks. So go to bombas.com/sleep today and get 20% off your first order. That's Bombas, BOMBAS.com/sleep for 20% off. That's bombas.com/sleep. And then share with me some socks in your Instagram story or on Twitter and let me know about it. Let Bombas know about your socks. So get over there, bombas.com/sleep. You'll get 20% off your first order. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, Scoots here. It's time for another, it's time to return. It's time for me to dispatch a subspace message to you. From the voice of the, what's that thing called? The particle? The food maker? What? Oh, boy. Hey, make me some food. The same voice that their version of the voice assistant is also the voice that says previously, as we concluded last season. What does that exactly say? Let me see here. Last time on Star Trek: The Next Generation, we see a recap. Borg. Admiral Hansen, Picard, engaged the Borg, fluctuating phasers, shields, all that stuff. Coming with every starship to assist, but we're 6 days away. Riker was saying, well, you can't play it safe, you can't make big decisions. Borg show up on the ship. Worf does this great jump, runs into it. Picard goes with Borg peacefully. Plan, brainstorming session, deflector dish. Maybe we can do it. Enterprise pursuing. Then the away team on the Borg ship looking around. Shelby to Enterprise. We found the communicator in uniform. And then, oh no, Commander Picard standing with the laser pointer. Jean-Luc, oh boy. Unable to retrieve him. Altered by the Borg. No, he is a Borg. Beverly says he's alive. We could restore him. Riker says it's our only chance. And then the musical would begin because Picard says, I'm Locutus of Borg. I'm a very big deal. And Riker says, Worf, fire. Mr. Worf, that is, Scoot. So sorry, fire. And now the conclusion. And again, we start up again with Locutus of Borg. Let's see what we got. Picard, laser pointer. Cedar Sam. Riker, 6 seconds, looks. We'll read through some of my poetic writing first. Riker, enormous execs, unchanged, undamaged. Cool hand, failure. Cool and failure, more looks, ceasefire. Your FaceTime was on there the whole time. Here, it's hapless and hopeless, number one. Big music open. So yeah, Locutus is checking them out, running out of everything. Energy's discharged in 6 seconds. We forget Wesley, Troy, Riker, Shelby, firing the deflector plan, and it does not work. Undamaged, Worf says. Impossible, Shelby says. I just read her lips, actually. Warning, reactor problems. Geordi can't maintain. Thermal limits reached. More looks. Troy. Riker's eyes down. Turns. Ceasefire. Geordi's shutting down warp. Couldn't have adapted that quickly. Riker knows something. And that's when Picard says, yeah, we know everything. I'm Locutus, but I was Picard, so we know all of it and now. All possible courses of actions. Data crusher. Shelby reaction looks. Resistance is futile, number one. Troy reacts to that. Riker reacts. And we go to the open. Then we come back. First along, slow, Enterprise meeting. Riker stands. His hands are like a praying mantis. Wolf 359. If you haven't listened to Wolf 359, check out that podcast and then check out the other podcasts that team and the people involved have been working on. Klingons, well, even the Klingons, maybe even the Vulcans are going to help. Not the Vulcans, but that other group, that the Borg will be ready. 40K run, freshman to win. The Academy marathon. We've abandoned all hope of recovering him. He checks his phone. As for Picard, so the Admiral Hanson's like every boss in the world. He's like talking and not listening and using his phone. But as for Picard, Riker looks down. Ugh. Captain, it's your ship now. Thoughtful Riker. Overhead shot with laser pointer of Locutus lying down. Never seen another Borg in this position before. The Borg are already upgrading. They say, we're going Locutus 2.0 now. Forget the beta, man. We're going to get you up in, they put on an extra attachment. They put some LEDs in there. But Picard is still there because we see, or maybe not, maybe this is just a biomechanical reaction, but we see one lone tear run down his eyes. Then we have Worf and Riker. Worf's arms are crossed. Borg have neither courage nor honor. Sage advice. Shield work. Darn tootin' have failed. Could use Worf's help. Riker and Shelby. Anything else? Riker is pleased at the end. Wolf 359, we've engaged the Borg. Oh boy, we got a bad signal. There's and then they go out, and that's the end of that sequence. So let's see. First officer log 44001.4. Borg on their way to Earth or Terra. We're unable to pursue. We're going to pursue once we get things fixed. You know, they're on the call with the Hanson 8 to 12 hours before we get this thing running. Oh, we'll miss you at the party. Don't worry, we'll be there. A little late, Riker says we'll be there. Well, you bought us some time. We got 40 warships or starships at Wolf 359, and that's just starters. Klingons are coming. Maybe even the Romulans. We might tell them. And Shelby says the Borg are going to be ready. And that's when he goes, even though he's like, talks about Riker being the fastest freshman, Daniel at 2. Only freshman ever win the 40K Academy Marathon or whatever. I wanted to know that young fellow, and I did. Drive, determination, and courage, Jean-Luc Picard. No way he would assist the Borg, so that's not Picard over there. Of course, Shelby says I'm not. I was just, he's like, this is the way I'm coping with it. You cope in your own way. And Beverly says, that's it then? What? And Hansen says, we got work to do. Someone actually hands him his phone, so in some sense they're saying, this is more important than the Enterprise. So I guess I guess I was blaming him, but I didn't see that that first time. Worf doesn't like it. Riker doesn't like it. Riker, you're field commissioned commander, captain. Congrats. Enterprise is your ship. I wish it was different. Shelby reacts. There's actually air conditioning blowing her hair or something. To us all. Riker looks down, thinks a minute, then we get an outside shot. Borg ship, Locutus's upgrade. They do some of the Locutus level work. They put on something that's even got magnetic coils on there, blender. Then they they say, hey, these LEDs will help. Hey, see, that's when it's a lone tier. Actually, they use the LED for something else. We see some kind of organics out of focus, organic mechanical stuff. But he's got humanity. Then on to the turbo pulse lift or whatever. Worf and Riker talking. What are our advantages? Neutralize force fields. We got to let them know we can adapt too. We're no longer against the Borg. We got the life experience of Picard too. Now, how the double heck do we learn, Borg neither have honor nor courage. That is our greatest advantage. I hope it's enough. Then they get off. Shelby's working on the warp core or something with Geordi. They're getting the shields, but then the sensors are off. No, they're working, Geordi. Half shields aren't working. Darn it all. Auxiliary, they say, Worf, we need your help down here too. And Riker says, we got to get moving, Geordi. Goes to have Shelby fill you in. We got a couple hours. Shelby says, we got the navigational thing. Shelburne and Barclay are working on something, proceeding, but it's slow work. We just got to figure this out. 2 or 3 hours. He says, good. And then there's a long pause, and she goes, anything else? And he goes, you've done a good job. And she goes, well, I didn't get Picard. He goes, well, he stopped him. He gave us our chance, even though it didn't work out. And he goes, we don't have to like each other, but you keep me on my toes. She goes, like a first officer? And that's when he laughs. He goes, you are ambitious. Get right to the point. And she goes, there's no reason for me to expect it, but you do need me. And I got the expertise. And he goes, you have a lot to learn. She goes, yeah. And he goes, oh, and then that's when he grins. As much as that when I was a young punk, he goes, yeah, you remind me of what a pain I was to Commander Picard, Captain Picard. Then they got a call, FaceTime, Starfleet's engaged the Borg, Wolf 359. Riker heads off on the bridge. They say, hey, get Hansen on subspace. And Hansen comes in, he's terrible signal. He goes, it's not going good. We're trying to withdraw and regroup. And, oh, sorry, we've lost the signal. Data goes, I don't know. Riker glares, a slow zoom on his face, and then they go to commercial. Captain's log, Riker. So that exclamation point that. Wolf 359. Riker talks to Worf and Data. Not the time for change. Data's surprised. I said, wait a second, does Data have the ability to be surprised? I guess so, because he's surprised when Riker makes this announcement about Shelby. Shares a look with Worf, heavy gravitar beam. Premise, nanotech, but that's you take 2 or 3 weeks. Riker, transcribe lead, grips back a chair. Then into the commander's quarter, captain's quarters, or captain's office, ready room, I don't know what you call it. Talks to the empty chair. Guinan shows up. This is one of the great scenes, which makes me really titillated me. I say, I got to learn more about, I got to go to these Guinan stories next. She totally blows by Riker. She talks. She goes, well, I'm thinking. She goes, okay, great. Let's talk then. She sits down. She says, do you know about Captain Picard and I? No. Well, we're beyond friends or family, but there can only be one captain. That look back away. Something. We must let him go. Only way. Something him that is your new chin. He sits. Crusher calls on my way. Riker takes over. Then we get to the fleet. Their toast. There's a zoom in. Big music. Just everybody stunned. Kishu, Tolstoy, Melbourne. Riker looks down. Wow. So that's that sequence. 44002.3. Commander's captain's log. Repairs are complete. We're on our way. Communications are cut off. Borg interference probably. Riker says, Worf, you get my respect for your service, but I need you tactical. Data, you're not ambitious. Nevertheless, I want you to know I considered you for first officer. Thank you. But not a time for change or to rearrange. I need all you where you are. Where Commander Picard relied on you. So I've been reluctantly conclude that Shelby, expert on the Borg, ideal for first officer, Worf and Data. Even Data's eyebrows go up. And I guess the latest we can do is the Borg we clearly made it through. That's when he's gripping the chair. What about that heavy graviton beam? Geordi says not strong enough. And then the nanobots, too long. Good ideas, but they're going to take too long. And they said, haven't you read Neil's books? But that'll take too long, 2 to 3 weeks. By the way, if you could get nanobots working in 2 to 3 weeks, you should do it anyway. We got the new phaser adapters. Maybe we could slow them down, maybe. Riker says, I'm sure Commander Picard would say something inspirational right now. But, that's not me. I wish he was here because I could use it. Difficult. He's really gripping that chair. I don't know if that's when his back was bothering him. He goes, I can't replicate Picard, but whatever the outcome, I'm sure our efforts will be efforts. And, he has faith in us. And we're going to live up to his faith in us. Dismissed. And everyone slowly exits. Then he goes into the ready room or whatever, Picard's office. Some stuff's in there. It looks like it was cleaned out. He says, what would you do? Oh, yeah, there's the Nautilus shell, some other shell. Guidance comes in. She says, hey, what's up? Talking to Picard's chair, eh? Can I speak to you? Oh, not a good time. She goes, great. She walks over to Picard's chair and sits down. She says, what about me? I'm running the show now. She goes, I'm used to having the captain's ear. So he says, what's up? And she goes, a lot of people are thinking, you got to get some hope in here because everybody's thinking it's not going to be no hope, but it doesn't work. And he goes, well, I'm not sure about that, though. And she goes, well, you're going to have to find something because it's not what's best. No matter what happens, we have to live today. Just like they saying no day like today or whatever. I'll do the best I can. She goes, you're not going to like it either because you got to let go of Picard. And he goes, maybe you haven't heard. I did yesterday. She goes, you know what I mean? In your heart. She goes, you got to run this. He's still here with us in this room. So stop drinking Earl Grey. That would be one thing. It might be easier if it was something else. But and then she says, we're closer than friends or family. So, this isn't something I'm just saying lightly. It's not easy for me. But I'll let him go. So you got to do it too. There can only be one captain. And he says, it's not simple. He wrote the book on this ship. She goes, exactly. Come on. Throw that book away. That's the only way you're going to figure all this out, Riker. Come on. I'm giving you the tools you need to be successful here. And, that's your chair. So he goes to throw the chair at him. Great idea. At the Borg ship or at each Borg? And she goes, okay, think about it. I'll be back. Riker watches her go, looks back at the chair. And then he slowly walks over. And this chair become a powerful thing in this episode or this office. Turns around and he says, give me a breakfast. I don't know, whatever the opposite of Earl Grey is. And then Wesley Crusher says, we're almost at Wolf, pulls his shirt down, gets up, goes to the bridge. Slow down, bring everything up, get everything on screen. Let's get ready. Sensors have several vessels, but no subspace fields, no power readings, no life signs, data says. They all look up at the screen, really good effects. Worf glares. Everybody, then Riker stands, pulls his shirt down. We zoom on him as he looks at what was left of the fleet, and now there's nothing. Shelby stands. Really, again, great effects. And she lists some of the ships that are gone. Riker looks down. And I think that's their next break. He looks back up, and we get another amazing effect of the Enterprise going through the field. And let's see, then back to my notes here. We get sensors. There's eddy currents. Let's follow those. Let's go with Shelby's original plan. But Picard, well, that's a bad idea, everybody says. He goes, I'm counting on it. Special mission for Data and Worf, something, Borg ship, Locutus takes a call for Riker. And that Riker's on the battle bridge, I guess, which is different. I think, and I said, wait a second, who's in the sauce? This is where I was having trouble, but never lie. Don't you trust me? Discuss your terms. No terms. Riker goes, mute the call. And he goes, let's second plan. We're about to intervene. Riker 1. Or some, that's a plan. Separation. Locutus watches. Riker Alpha. Riker Beta. Antimatter. Spread. Shuttle. Locutus, they put on some armbands, Riker and Data. Data and Worf. Luch armbands? Shuttle launch show. Fireworks, out your angles. There's the armbands again, Data and Worf. Borg exposed or engrossed. Then Data and Worf dance with some Borg. 1 dance, 2 dance, 3 dance, 4 dance. Then we have Worf v. Locutus, a little dance off. Data uses something, a sleep device and they take Picard on the shuttle. We have him beam out of the shuttle. Then the shuttle goes bye-bye. Success. Then there's a zoom on Riker who grins. So let's see. We still have a special effects shot. Worf says, that's when Worf does, let's go with these eddy currents. 200 bearing to 11. Could be the Borg ship. Let's follow. Shelby, let's do your saucer plan. And she goes, but Picard rejected that plan. Or Picard knew about it. I'm aware of that. I'm counting on it. And then she goes, Crusher, Akari, Tano, Gleason to the battle bridge. Data, Worf, I have a special mission for you. So I guess not. Maybe Shelby's on the battle bridge. Then we see the Borg ship. We see everybody walking. We got Locutus. He's the only one with the laser pointer, though. He goes to their screen, which is different. He sees Riker on a different bridge. I assume some sort of battle bridge. He goes, yo, this is what Riker. Go ahead. This is Locutus. We got to end this. Sure, surrender. Locutus over. Riker says, well, what are your terms of surrender? And they go, no. You're trying to trick us. Nice try. And that's when Riker says, if Picard really knows me, you know I don't trick people, so he inherently trusts me. And he goes, oh, yeah, we inherently trust you. Forgot. Thank you for putting us under. Trust me now. Discuss terms. Discussions irrelevant. No terms. Escort us to Sector 1. And then we'll, take over. And that's when Riker says, mute it. Gleason, pinpoint it. So this is a battle bridge. I can put you in 30 minutes, 30 meters. All right, O'Brien, can you beam him? No. But we expected that. So it would go as proceed as planned. Then they turn their armbands on. Riker goes, unmute him. Preparation relevant. Get ready. Join Locutus as Picard has. You're just playing delay, number one. Not going to work. We will proceed to Earth, and don't mess with us. We're not in the mood. And Riker says, take your best shot, because we're about to intervene. It's already been brought in. And he goes, hang up on him. And then he goes, Riker 1, Shelby report. They separate, make it so. So the main bridge is the saucer, well, Shelby's on the main bridge, and I'm not sure. I guess the main bridge is on the saucer section. Geordi says, latch is clear. I don't know if this is the first time, but I remember the first time I saw this thing separate, I was like, holy moly, that's cool. I had no idea. Then they say total action time. This is when Locutus is watching and saying, okay, let's watch this thing. A tractor beam, evasive maneuvers, Riker Alpha confirmed. They get out of the way of the beam. And then they say, okay, evasive pattern, Riker Beta. Okay, let's go to phase 2. So then that's the antimatter spread is like a confusion thing. And Riker watches. So this is what enables the shuttle to sneak in. It's just like fireworks. Then the shuttle gets over there. They penetrate the field. They park it they use the shuttle transporter to get over there. I said, that was one of the things I said, how are they going to get out of there? Like a short transporter, which works. So they should transport into the Borg ship. They show up, they get ready. First, Borg aren't expecting them, so they walked around for a bit. And then they just start dancing with Borg as soon as they can. they're all, Borg are all watching. They see Locutus is in the middle. So they do have to be careful. And there's other Borg just walking around doing their jobs. Doing their job, I guess, because they're all one. There's like one of the persons next to Locutus. Great shot by Worf to go past Locutus, take out his handlers or whatever. And then Worf dances with Locutus. Somebody rolls up behind Data, but he does a quick move. They haven't adjusted. And then they take, they rescue Commander Picard. And they say, okay, they get on the shuttle. They say, okay, get the shuttle out of the Borg parking. Then they get off the shuttle because obviously the Borg are going to see the shuttle and know something's up, which is true. Once they're out of the Borg field, get them out of there, O'Brien. A little rescue. This is like episode of The Mandalorian. They get back. They have Picard. And Picard's sleeping. Riker grins. Says, oh, yeah, Borg. Okay, then we have the two ships facing off with one another. We worried, course towards Earth. Percut, Picard and Medbay. We don't have more time. Both ways, if I were lucky. She tries to raise him without losing power. Beverly, Crusher, Doctor. Yes, he has this like moving, he has this like eyebrow contraption above his eyebrow, like a eyebrow-based satellite dish, mini satellite dish. Something incorrect. Number one. Only I mean you understand us. No harm, no humor. His suit looks cool close up. Data, multimodal. I said, that's what my underwear's made out of, modal. I said, that's pretty funny. I think it's even multimodal. But complex signals, interactive, or interacute, cutting the link. We must know what he knows. Separate man from machine. Data, perhaps Picard looks at re-rents, rolls up on Worf. Lore, Worf, says specs. Data, Riker, Crusher. Beverly puts him to sleep. To the lab. Shelby to Riker. 001 Saturn. They go by Saturn, and there's big music for the break. So let's see. We got to show off with both parts of the ship and the Borg ship. Impulse drives toast on the saucer section. We can't move. We got subspace fluctuations. They're getting ready to move. Stand by. We have saucer sections, a sitting duck. And Riker says, draw their fire. It says, can you say saucer sections? Hard to say. And then the Borg ship heads back towards Earth. They have to rendezvous and then follow. We see Picard with Riker, Beverly Crusher, and somebody else who we don't see yet. I think Data or Worf. Well, it's Worf. Structural changes. We don't have time. We got to find out, way to win. We got to use him to find out about the Borg. Everything we need to know, their vulnerabilities. So she wakes him up first. He has a nice sparkly pillow. His laser pointer's still working. She says, Jean-Luc, can you hear me? The Borg have a little bit of a sparkle makeup on. We see his suit is like some rubber. It looks good. A little bit of a Batman type look to it. I'm on board the Enterprise. That's right. He sits up. We see his abs. Futile maneuver. Incorrect strategy number 1. Crew and ship for one person? Not a good idea. Picard wouldn't have approved. You underestimate us. We don't care about this. He raises his arm. He looks over at Worf. No need for apprehension, though. Like, he says, like, I tend no harm. No harm. I will continue aboard the ship to speak for the Borg. Let's just act like everything's normal. And they'll continue without further diversion to Sector 001. And that'll be it. So pretty much waste your time. Riker and Beverly share a look. Data's tapping away. Multimodal reflection sorting. I detected subspace signals between Locutus and the Borg ship. Controlling them, not a matter of control. It's like an interactive subspace domain, like a transporter beam. I'd hypothesis this is a collective unconscious of the Borg. Can we block him? I don't know. Data says there's some sort of circuit they've taken from, like to separate comrades from the consciousness. And then after that, when you cut the link, that's when they go to the big Borg in the sky, the big cube in the sky. They say, we got to know what we know. Beverly says, well, I could do some micro work on him, but these Borg implants are functioning. I don't know if I can separate the man from the machine. Data says, well, maybe I could hack in there. I can access some machine parts with my brain. They say, wait a second. And then we see Riker's, or Picard's reading his, readouts at the med bay. He says, Worf, Klingon species, warrior race. Check out my blender. Some built into my arm. He goes, Klingon will never yield. And he goes, Borg's just trying to raise quality of life for everyone. And Worf says, it's so this is like this idea of Worf says, I like my species the way we are. We don't need to be assimilated. And then he rolls up on Data. Primitive artificial organism. You'll be obsolete soon. That's when they put him to sleep. They use Data as a little distraction. They say, take him to the lab. Shelby to Riker. Borger and 001 going past Saturn. We got to hurry. So, and we see a brief thing. Oh, wait, this is the next break. Bridge, Shelby thanking Riker, 27 minutes, need 42. Data, neural net transport, buffer. Troy is there as well. Cards. Okay, I can look into this in 3 stages. Picard's shirt is off. He's just in it's just interesting as we get revealed what he's wearing. They said, take his shirt off. He doesn't need fake abs. He has real abs. 3 stages. I don't know. Oh, this is one of the things I love is this dialogue. When you ask someone for an answer, I don't know if there's many other shows that have the courage to have authority figures on a regular basis say in a genuine way that leads to the solution. I don't know. Picard does this a lot. And Data says it in a very honest way, but it's still part of the story. And so I don't know. I love these choices. I don't know. I've never done this before. I mean, think about, I don't know. That's just like one of my, I said, I don't know, but I've never done this before. It's not only the right thing for the character to say, that's like real courage when you say, I don't know, I've never done this before. And it's good teamwork in this situation where, a lot of times you'd be like, okay, well, I'm supposed to know, so I'll just say I know even though I don't. I don't know. What a great example. Level 1, no. Then we see the Mars defense grid or something, and Borg take them out. Enterprise is something. Two new connections or second level. No. Final level. Picard nods. something, I have access, processing, zoom on Data's brain, root around. Picard tries he goes, I'm getting out of here. Data says, let me take this blender off you. It just seems like unnecessary. So Data uses his super strength, removes the blender attachment. It's him. It's Picard. He lifts Data's arm. Data calls. He says, I made first contact. Bridge, Borg, somebody's worried. Borg is worried? I don't know. Interparley, plan a command. Riker interrupts, make every effort. Visitor conflict, magnify. Red alert, status, tractor beam. Unable to penetrate defenses. Power, shields failed, pulling us in. Complete something power, current portable power. It's over. Collision course. This is how, like, Riker has a plan, a backup plan to warp them out in warp power, which no one likes. And then Picard says sleep. And then they go back and forth, and Data says, I have a supposition to sleep. What? Smiles, minimal power, shall be away, Team Mr. Worf. So I wrote more on this because I watched it twice. Like, they want Data to do like an episode of Sleep with Me for all the Borg. Hi, Terran, Outer Hall. Something, Mr. Worf, 23, 24, 25, Hall. Oh, those are all, this Hall's penetrated. Riker, full stop, spin. What the double hockey sticks? What if I put all of them to sleep? Status, minimal, confirm, delighted, Mr. Worf on ship, then they go bye-bye. Okay, let's see how it plays out here. Okay, so we have Shelby and Riker, Borg of the Jupiter Outpost 92. Nothing from Jupiter. But they're probably not going to work against the Borg. They're in 27 minutes away from Earth. We're 40 minutes away. 42 minutes, Wesley says. Riker to Data. What's your status? He goes, okay, we got the initial connection to the neural nets. Mr. Bryan's going to process some of it through the transport pattern buffer. Data starts to go on and on and on, but he goes, proceed, Data, just get to work. So then they bring Picard up. Same kind of thing, this like reveal. I remember when Lal was revealed, lowered down. Neural link will be established. Troy's there. Beverly Crusher's there. Observe, keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him. Observe him at each stage. O'Brien's on the positronic matrix, and hopefully we'll be able to tell if we're actually reaching Picard. And that's when O'Brien says, well, when should I shut it down? And Data says, I don't know. Never done this before. Never hacked into Captain Picard after the takeover by the Borg. I say, okay, everything's stable. Positronic activities unchanged. Data goes to the first level. Nothing. No access to the consciousness. Beverly doesn't sense anything. Troy doesn't sense anything either. Then we see the Mars defense grid. They're nothing. Borg is like, that's a joke. Those were those hot rodders that Wesley hung out with. And so they go bye-bye. Then they say, okay, that's past Mars. Now next stop Earth for the Borg. Okay. We're 23 minutes away, 14 seconds, Wesley says. They go around Saturn. And second neural connection established. Still can't get anything on here. No access. Final link. Picard starts moving. Data says, oh boy. Data even moved in the same way at first. Premodal stuff, hypothalamus is active. Starts beating. Micron matrix accelerating. Data says connection complete. Got access to the Borg signals. And processing 1, processing 2, processing 3. And Troy says, I sense something. Data keeps processing. We get a zoom on his brain. I think that's probably the next act break, right? Fascinating. Now, Borg group consciousness is divided into simple subcommands. So this is a little bit of explanation. They got defense, communication, navigation, and they're all controlled by a root command. You just implant, and then Picard looks at him, looks back. That's when he tries to use his thing. He tries to get out at first. Data puts a stop to that with his super strength. He says, let's just take this off of you, man. Can't be pleasant to have a magnetic blender attachment on there. So they do that, and Data stares at it. He says, what in the hey, double hey? And they say, okay, there's we got prefrontal cortex stuff happening. I think the Borg are trying to cut him off. Picard even holds on to his blender arm for a little while. And then Data goes, no, that's not what's happening. I can't figure it out. And Troy goes, it's not the Borg, it's Picard trying to come through. And that's when he holds Data's arm up as a connection. Looks and that's when Troy says, Data's made first contact. Can you communicate with him? Not yet, not through neural pathway. Can't get around the Borg implants. Picard's initiated contact. And they say, Borg have stopped moving. What should we do? We're 2 minutes away. Riker says they're worried because now we're accessing Picard. And they go, we got 2 minutes, Data. And Data goes, okay, they're not going to terminate the subspace links. And Beverly says, that's their Achilles heel. They can't do it. They're all interdependent. Once he's locked in, you can't cut him off. He's a part of them now. And then they say, yeah, he says it's a single mind. And then they say, what if we implant a command in their collective unconscious? And Data says, it's conceivable, but I'd have to alter a pathway from I'd have to hack it. And Riker goes, get to work, okay? Don't over-explain it. What command? He goes, something simple and straightforward. Turn off the weapons, stop moving. Then they have visual contact with the Borg and Earth, and the power's building up. Borg are getting ready to do everything. Riker's like, get ready. And they say the Borg are ready too. Data's trying to hack in, but everything's failing. Can't get in, can't hack into defense. That's protected. They got a tractor beam, got to rotate our shield, then they're trying to figure the thing out. Data's unable to get into defense systems. Power, see if you can power them down, Shelby says. Data says, okay, power command. And then that's like everything's happening. Enterprise is falling apart. They're pulling us in. Riker says, okay, let's get ready for the last barrage of weapons. But that does not work. Data can't hack power. All the critical commands are like protected, and Data, then Riker says, it's over then. Warp into that ship. And Wesley looks at him like he's going to throw up, and then he says, yes, sir. So a really heroic moment for everybody. And a really great thing of storytelling. Then Picard says, sleep. And they say, he must be tired. He says, sleep again. They say, it's Picard, not Locutus. Sleep, Data, he says. And they say, he must be exhausted. And that's when Data says, what if this is a idea? I don't think he's talking about if expressing fatigue, but a course of action. Picard looks at him. That's when, again, they go after the ship. cutting beam, Crusher, get ready. And then Data says, hold on, I'm going to try something here. And they go, stand by. He goes, I'm going to try to hack into the regenerative subcommand path. It's low priority, maybe easier to hack. And they say, okay, well, the ship's falling apart, so what should we do? And they go, this is your last chance, Data. He goes, hold on. And they go, well, the ship's falling apart, so we got to do something, please. And, we have to hang out for a few seconds. Then the weapons shut down. And everybody says, what? Worf, Wesley, Riker. Riker does a full spin. The camera spins around him. Like they're all looking around the ship like something happened nearby. And Data says, I put him to sleep. They made him think it's time to regenerate. And Riker says, holy moly, to sleep. And Data says, yeah. And they go, what's the power? And they say, minimal power. Okay, electromagnetic field, still working. No, non-existent. Shelby, go over there and confirm they're asleep. She's happy. She says, delighted. She goes, Worf, let's go. So they go over and they look around. I don't know what, they just see, everybody not doing anything. I guess that's like normal Borg. But I think she does have a way to determine that they're in a regenerative mode. She goes, it's true. They're all in regeneration mode. Dormant. But we don't know. Riker says, well, we don't know how long, right? And Worf says, yeah, tricorders are fluctuating. And they go, but, yeah, we could be saying that they're going to go bye-bye because they're malfunctioning. Should we disarm that? They go, well, we don't know what's going to happen if the ship goes to Picard. And Data says, we should try to learn about the Borg. Riker thinks about it. He goes, no. Separate yourself from Commander Picard. Away team come back, and we got to let the Borg go away and see what happens to Picard. So they get out of there, and the Borg ship goes bye-bye. Picard has to take a breath. He actually, leans up against something. But he's he lost his breath. So we get a Riker, Troy, and they go, he's stable. They let him out. He's just in, this strange thing, like a Borg bikini. And they go, how you feeling? He goes, almost human. Well, just a bit of a headache. And they say, we'll get you to sick bay and we'll remove all this stuff. Riker goes, how much do you remember? And Picard pauses, get a great look. He goes, everything, including some great strategy by a kid named Riker, former first officer of mine. Riker's pleased. Then we see the Enterprise over Earth and the moon, which is cool. And very pretty shots. And then back to normal. Picard's in his red office with Riker. 5 to 6 weeks of repairs. Shelby comes in. She says, request permission to disembark, sir, to Riker. He goes, Picard's in command now. He goes, permission granted. You're going to be a fine per member of the task force. She goes, I'll get the fleet back together. Riker, I'm sure you'll be on whatever ship you want. He goes, everyone's so concerned about my next job. With all due respect, my career plans are my business. He goes, it's nice to know I'll have some options, though. And she says, I hope I could work with you again. Riker smiles. She smiles. She says, Captain. She heads off. Riker says, okay. And then they go, head for Station McKinley. Make it so, number one. And then we have this last moment. Brilliant. Picard goes to pick up his Earl Grey. Pauses. He's looking, far off, puts his tea back down so slowly. So, I mean, this is great, a great performance. Barely any movement, just enough that you can tell it all. He almost moves his mouth, and then he walks to the window to look out in space. We see the reflection of Earth as he stands at his window. And you say, wow, what a set of episodes. So good. So good night. All right, I want to thank everybody that became a patron recently. Molly, Drew, and Brenda. Thank you. Thanks. Good night. Tina, Sunshine, and Lily. Thank you. Thanks. Good night. Nature, Rachel, and Vaughn. Thank you. Thanks. Good night. Trevor, Brittany, and Nicole. Thank you. Thanks. And good night. Christian, Jason, and Noreen. Thank you. Thanks. Good night. Aaron, Eugene, and Hannah. Thanks. And good night. Lily, Primary, and Kevin. Thank you. Thanks. Good night. Linda, Jarrett, and Megan. Thank you. Thanks. Good night. Stephen, Ann, and JD. Thank you. Thanks. Good night. Mew, Andy, and James. Thanks. Good night. Pari, Elise, and Ian. Thank you. Thanks. Good night. Alex, Silver, and Maddie. Thank you. Thanks. Good night. Felicia, Trish, and Rory. Thank you. Thanks. Good night. Lisa, Patricia, and Rich. Thanks. Good night. Heather, Mark, and Evan. Thank you. Thanks. Good night. Tara, Elle, and Karen. Thank you. Thanks. Good night. Maria, Darcy. Thank you. Thanks. Good night. And Anna and the Powers family. Thanks. Good night. Thanks everybody who supported the show on Patreon. We were really able to be here as a free show because those who support the show on Patreon and those who support the sponsors, and everybody else gets it's like a benefit to everybody. So I appreciate that, and we grow as a podcast by people just sharing about podcasts in general. Believe it or not, I'll talk about the referral program coming up. But even if you tell people about podcasts and show them how to use their podcast app, if Sleep With Me is the right fit, they'll find it. But getting people used to listening to podcasts and showing them how to use a podcast app, the sleep timer, the search, playlists, all that stuff, helping the people in your life with that, a huge help to everybody. So thanks so much and good night. All right, everybody, it's Scoots here. And I don't know if you've experienced any of these long lines or long wait times, or if you've talked to someone in your family and they're waiting forever for their furniture to be delivered. We're talking companies that are up to 4 months until they can get your furniture delivered. But that doesn't happen with our sponsor, Feather. With Feather, the furniture comes in as little as 7 days. Because when you see something online that you want it right away. That's normal. And if you got to wait 4 or 5 months, it's like, forget about it. And I've talked about Feather over and over and over again. This is furniture that changes as your lifestyle changes, as your home changes. And that's why you got to check out Feather. People who live in cities move 6 to 8 times before they hit their early 30s. And Feather is a furniture rental company designed for people who want to feel at home no matter how often they move. But they want something that's nice, high quality, stylish, and affordable, because furnishing a 1-bedroom can cost upwards of $6,000. But with Feather, you could furnish a bedroom with high quality, beautifully designed furniture for the cost of your monthly utility bill. Their delivery team brings furniture directly to your home in as little as 7 days. They handle all the heavy lifting, so you can go from an empty apartment to a fully furnished home without lifting a finger or assembling anything. And it's not just furniture. They have rugs, lamps, wall art, and now they've even added outdoor furniture. And if you move to a new place with a different layout, no problem. You can easily swap out furniture that works for any space. And this means a lot to me. I moved a few years ago. I'm probably going to move again in the next few months. And Feather is going to be my number one option, because renting from Feather, you're choosing a sustainable alternative to fast furniture that won't end up in landfills. So don't wait 4 months for furniture. Get your order in with Feather. Try a new way to furnish your home. Right now, Feather has an exclusive offer just for Sleep With Me listeners. If you go to livefeather.com and use the promo code SLEEP300, you'll receive $300 off your first month of their annual plan. That's livefeather.com and use our promo code SLEEP300 for $300 off. Thanks, everybody.